aspects of aging. Okay, plain and simple. They are problems. Problems that you had similar to what you had when you were in your 50s, which you may be right now. Similar to what you had in your 30s. This could be emotional or something with your relationships. It could be similar to something you went through as a teenager, even as a child, that had to do with the same thing, how you felt and what your interactions were like. But because everyone around you is also advancing in age, they are coming into their 50s. People having relationships with you that aren't little tiny children being your grandchildren anymore. They are young adults in their 20s and 30s, because your peers are also aging. Situations are compounding. Situations are, well, they're just different now that you know that you are entering the third of your life. Last episode, I asked about moving, because we're moving closer to a loved one because of aging. And we too are aging. Both my husband and I are in our early 60s. So our life is different. Our kids are adults. We're just in a different, young adults. So we're just in a different era, and our interactions with an older loved one is going to be different. So aspects of aging and aspects of moving. I asked about moving companies, moving vans, moving trucks, people who do packing or pack it onto the truck and unpack it from the truck for you. There are several companies. I thought of just those that I've been seeing on the freeways. So Beacons, Allied, United. What else do I have here? International. There's even one called Home. I think our situation is going to be more of a U-Haul DIY kind of a move. So thanks for looking those up. They may come in handy for you or for an aging loved one. So the first thing I wanted to touch on briefly, but we're just going to go really deep with it right away, is end of life, EOL. So my question is, who wants to talk about end of life? I do. Really? The honest truth is, every week I hear someone or read of someone who's saying, I really don't want to approach these subjects, or people who are saying you need to approach those subjects before they approach you. I think we can all agree on that it's better to drive your own life, even if it is the end of your life, rather than someone else drive it for you. So end of life, my suggestion is that you become familiar with what it means, even familiar with the words themselves, what it means to have an end-of-life doula. Do you even know what a doula does? What do doulas do? There are end-of-life doulas. They are certified. They've been trained. It isn't just a person raising their hand saying, I'll hang out during this crucial, most important, final act of living. This is a person who's really been trained, and they have specific parameters, lines that they stay behind and lines that they specifically cross because of their neutrality and because of their training. You should know what palliative care is, what comfort care is, what is meant by hospice. What does that really do for you, for the family, for the person who is facing that? And do you just call in hospice because you think you're going to need some help because you feel like you're coming to the end of your life? What are all the policies? What are the definitions that have to do with end of life? The next subject, the next aspect of aging is chronic pain without suffering. So chronic pain can truly feel like it is killing you. It can feel like you are receiving some universal punishment that other people apparently are immune from. You can feel like you're being tortured. There's some sort of answer you're supposed to come up with, something that you didn't do right, something that's just being, lightning bolts are being thrown down at you. And the pain can feel like a burning, terrible pain. It can be just during the day. It can be related to your activities or something in your environment that you cannot control. It can be something that you can ignore during the day. You can keep distracted and keep happy. But at nighttime when you are alone, that is when the pain feels worse. Is it because you're lying down, or is it because there's so much silence around you? Now, there are things, one of them is cognitive behavioral therapy. So something to make sure that I specify right now. End of life was the aspect that I've already touched on. This is not a pain that is part of the dying process. Not at all. This could go on for decades, and it doesn't necessarily end your life, but it definitely affects your quality of life. And it affects your relationships around you, because your misery is going to affect how you are relating to other people, or even to strangers, to your neighborhood, to the groups that you attend or that you used to attend. But now, with unrelenting discomfort, you've pulled away from that, or they have pulled away from you. At least it seems that way, or it truly is that way. So this is one thing, cognitive behavioral therapy. There are other procedures, there are other therapies, there are other ways of approaching your chronic pain that will remove suffering from pain. When someone is suing, they're suing for pain and suffering. This has been separated. This has been put in two different spots so that what's happening to you is separate from how you're relating to life. And we're not talking about what kind of medication that you're taking, although that is a big part of mitigating that discomfort. The last thing that I would like to touch on is incoming and outgoing. So incoming financially, and your communications. So I keep saying communiques. So it can be mail in the mailbox. If financially, it could be doing your taxes. Communication, it could be what you're seeing on your computer screen, like right now. But it has to do with incoming and outgoing, not just what's coming to you, but how you are reacting or responding to it out into the world. So with finances, it could be your investments. It could be something that you pay for monthly your bills. The bill comes to you and you are paying out. That can change as you age because of the way that you perceive why this is coming to you and how you should respond to it. Maybe in the 5 decades before now, there was a right way for everyone to respond to that financial information. Perhaps in the 5 decades before now, there was a right way to respond to every phone call, to respond to emails, or to a subscription that you're part of that's a communication to you. And now in this decade, you just have to respond so differently because of scams, but also kind of like, hey, Grandpa, people just don't really respond to a phone call maybe as easily as they respond to a text. And you're thinking, I just want to be able to hear a voice, or perhaps your hearing or your way of writing or the keyboarding that you're doing and the way that you used to send it is not as helpful and not as efficient as it was. So the incoming and outgoing, the cycle of both finances and communications can be different now. And who do you invite in to give you advice on that? Whose advice do you take? And when do you put your foot down and say, it's my way, or they're not going to get paid this month, or they're not going to hear back from me this month? So all of those things you get to approach on your own terms. The question I would like to leave you with today has to do with that desperation for relief from chronic, daily, monthly, minute by minute pain that is not ending your life, but it is a part of your life regularly, and it affects you, and it affects the people around you who are caring about you, how you've changed, the wincing look on your face, or your refusal to be pitied. So I would like for you to look up pain relievers that have severe side effects, the possibility of severe side effects, or they almost always have that side effect, and pain relief that really has no side effect at all. Perhaps even the side effects are better for your overall wellness. So go ahead and look up pain relief and find some of those names and some of those subjects that psychologists and psychiatrists and occupational therapists and physical therapists suggest for people who would like to go on, yes, still with some amount of pain, but without suffering from that pain. I want to highlight today in the journaling prompt number 11, which is now going to be called, because I keep changing it because I'm still writing this prompted journal, the pre-Act Your Age journal. It is called Resilience Reward. It reads a lot like self-care. In fact, I read about self-care. Apparently, 1988, an article was written by a woman talking about self-care. And people have gone back to that article and see that as a beginning point. And the whole idea that self-care isn't selfish, it helps you to care better for maybe someone who needs you. And also, it gives you a better, healthier outlook on yourself and on your life habits. So the resilience rewards are always for you when you have completed a task in the prompted journal, the pre-actor age journal, and you have actually completed an action today or this week or before this weekend is over with. You have done something in advance of your own advanced aging. You have prepared something, you have documented something, you have communicated something, you have visited somewhere, you have purchased something that is for your future. You don't really need it right now, but you're starting that habit of being involved, of having both hands on the wheel, navigating your age. You've just started that today at this age. Those resilience rewards, as written about in that article in 1988, are not just, what did they say? Not just bubble baths, and it's not just for women, and it is not just selfish. It is something that you have always done for yourself through the years, and you don't want to lose that habit of doing the things that give you a brighter outlook or more clarity or better focus or more movement, physical movement to your body that you could lose as you continue to age. Also, to get you to do those pre-actions, you can look forward to a reward. I've suggested 4 on every single one of the 52 aspects of aging. So that puts it at over 200, right? 200 different things that you might do. And it includes things that you do with other people, not just alone. Self doesn't mean all by myself. And it's things that you can do for someone else. You are participating, and it is just a soul-filling moment to have done something for someone else, for an organization, for a cause, for a neighbor, that it just lifts you up. It's something you want to tell other people about, or maybe you just want to jot it down in your journal just to remember. And some of them are giving you permission to do something silly or something that you haven't done in so long. You've really just gotten out of the habit of enjoying that. So that's what number 11 is on each of the aspects of aging in the pre-actor age journal. And I call it prompted because I'm telling you a subject to deal with, to think about, and also I've given you suggestions that might be the right answer for you, or at least get your brain wheels turning so that you can find the right answer that fits who you are right now. So I think I've covered everything for now. I gave you some answers from last time, except for one thing. I want to make sure I don't forget to mention the 3 topics for next time. These are problems, these are challenges, these are issues, these are things that affect you at any age, some of them at any age, but many of them only as you are aging, growing older, and all of them are different in your 80s, 90s, and 100s. So the next 3 are assisted living community, the how and to what extent, the when of looking at or putting your name in or moving into assisted living communities, if ever. There's a lot of questions around what they are, how they are different, what they are for, and absolutely, when is it right for me? The other two aspects of aging are temporary medical conditions that could be permanent at my age. Maybe not if I had come across this in my 30s, but definitely now that I'm in my 70s, this temporary condition could be permanent for a variety of reasons. And the last one for next time, ADA ready. Already? This has to do with your environment, the place that you live in, the way that you go about the neighborhood, go up and down the hallway. Is it ready for you plus 2? I'll talk about that next time. For now, I am Christine A. Smith, and I suggest that you participate in your own style of a brain body pre-activation. This is beyond taking a walk. This is beyond doing a crossword puzzle. This is something that causes your body and your brain to come up with different solutions or different movements that you aren't doing anymore because you've gotten out of the habit of something that almost every aging industry person thinks is important, and that is the importance of play and creation and coming up with ideas and trying something new just because it's what you used to do. To learn something new is that you had to try something new. You don't need to stop learning just because you've reached a certain birthday. And your body and your brain needs to practice doing something new. If you want to see some of them, go to Aging Better Network. I have to remember which one it's called. AgingBetterNetwork.com. Go there, scroll down to pre-activations, and try a few of those. They are for your brain, for your body, and it isn't repetitious. It isn't Sudoku. It isn't just lifting something up and down, and it becomes something that's just automatic. You really have to think, and your body really has to participate and obey you to do pre-activations. So I suggest that to you because I am the aging enthusiast.